Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Samurai Goddess. The goddess next door takes on kung fu killers in this action-packed martial arts Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Samurai Goddess in paperback and e-readers today. A couple of weeks ago, we had another one of these beta males participate in some violent behavior over a parking space. And in this incident, your 65-year-old Larry Tomlinson decided to shoot Jalen Walker and paralyze him for the rest of his life, all because he saw him parked illegally in a parking space. Now, when I take a critical look at this incident, I see another textbook example of the spectrum of violent behaviors these beta males participate in, and the same type of behavior I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. Now, when it comes down to this Larry Tomlinson, he is a textbook beta male, because only a beta male would get so caught up in his emotions over a parking spot that he would escalate his behavior to first getting angry about a parking space in a private parking lot, and then two, trying to attack and confront individuals over that parking space, and three, getting to the point where he would pull out a concealed carried weapon to shoot an individual over a private parking space. Because when you take a critical examination of this Larry Tomlinson's extremely dysfunctional behavior, it mirrors the exact same dysfunctional behavior of the white male who decided that he would murder Marquise McLaughlin over a handicapped parking space. And again, this is this beta male behavior where these individuals are so caught up in their extreme ideas of right and wrong that they can't temper that with any sort of discipline. And because they can't temper anything with any discipline, they just don't know where the boundaries are. So this individual took it upon himself to become the sheriff of a private parking lot, and he was going to enforce the law, and he was going to enforce the law to the extreme where he was going to go out here and pull a weapon to punish a black man over a parking space in a private parking lot that he did not own. And that's textbook beta male behavior, because many beta males, because they have been raised in homes with single mothers or homes with a beta male father, have a sense of entitlement. And because they believe they are owed something as trivial as a parking space, they believe it is their right to have that parking space, even though that parking space was in a private lot and it was there just for the sake of being there for everyone. Now, yes, those men from the Amazon delivery service, they were illegally parked in that lot. However, that was something for law enforcement to deal with. And this is one of the problems that the beta male has regarding boundaries. He says he does not understand where the line is for himself. He doesn't understand that if you see somebody illegally parked in a parking space, this is not something for you to get upset about. This is something for you to just let law enforcement deal with if they are in the vicinity. And if it's not really that important, find another parking space or wait for these men to go on their way. And it's not for you to get so upset that you will get so caught up in your emotions that you will go out here and, like this beta male did, he's going to record these people's car, and then he's going to go out here as he's going into the store, so-called shopping, to go and confront these individuals. That's a textbook example of the dysfunctional behavior that your beta male participates in, because he believes everything is supposed to work right in his smooth world, and everybody is supposed to follow the rules as according to how he sees them in his smooth world. So the whole reason why this beta male decided to escalate things was because he felt that he was wronged And he felt that because he was wrong, he had a right to attack these individuals. And again, that's where he crossed the boundary, and that's where he violated the law. Because when it comes down to something as trivial as a handicapped parking space in a parking lot, you do not have the right to go out here and attack people over a parking space. That's where your beta males have the disconnect as related to boundaries. Because yes, it's a little upsetting that somebody is parked in a handicapped parking space that you are supposed to have the privilege of using, but you are not entitled to that parking space, and you can't go out here and take the law into your own hands, similar to what your Larry Tomlinson did. And when you do go out here and take the law into your own hands and try to argue and confront people, that is where you wind up in serious trouble, and that's where you wind up putting your life at risk. Because again, your beta male, he doesn't understand where the boundaries are, and he's willing to do things like put his own life at risk over trivial things. And as a result, this Jalen Walker will never be able to walk for the rest of his life, because this coward, after losing the fight with Jalen Walker, that's when he decided to go out here and pull out his concealed weapon that he was legally allowed to carry and shoot this man in the back. Clearly an act of complete cowardice, and it showed how weak these beta males are, that they have to pull a weapon over something as trivial as a parking space and destroy the life of someone all over a parking space. But again, because your beta male is a emotional individual, he has no critical thinking skills, he cannot use logic and reason, this is the type of behavior that your beta male will participate in, and this is part of the spectrum of violent behaviors your beta male will participate in if they feel wronged. Because when it comes down to the beta male, whenever he feels wrong, he believes he is entitled to act on his feelings, and because he feels like he can act on his feelings, he feels like it's his right to go out here and act violently towards people. And that's not the way a balanced man learns how to act. A balanced man who comes from a two-parent household and has been raised right, he understands that, yes, if he sees some delivery drivers in a parking space, he's going to, in most cases, if it's something that he needs, he may contact the security of the lot to get that space, or he may just sit there and wait for those guys to do what they're going to do and then go on. He's not going to make it a big issue, and he's not going to make a mountain out of a molehill, and he's not going to put things that are important to him as related to his intangibles of manhood, like his health and his safety, at risk over something as trivial as a parking space owned by another corporation. Because at the end of the day, whatever he's shopping for is usually supposed to be his priority, and something as trivial as a parking space is not worth putting things like the intangibles of his manhood, like his health, his safety, and his freedom at risk, nor is it worth putting at risk the health, safety, and freedom of others. Because when it comes down to the beta male, he doesn't understand about the intangibles of manhood, he doesn't understand about the principles of manhood, and because he doesn't understand about those intangibles and principles, that's why they escalate things where they don't need to be escalated, like what this Larry Tomlinson did, this coward did, going out here, one, videotaping this truck, this delivery van or whatever it is, and then going out here to confront the individuals as he's shopping in the store. Because it's clear to me he probably found another parking space, but he felt so righteous in his indignation that he's going to go out here and confront these individuals and then escalate things to the point where he's going to shoot someone in the back. So this individual, he has gone out here and committed multiple crimes, and it's all due to his inability to have any sort of discipline, any sort of self-control. And this is another textbook example of the dysfunctional behaviors your beta male participates in, because your beta male, he is a man on the outside, but he's a female on the inside. And because he's a female on the inside in many cases, this is why he becomes emotional. This is why he becomes irrational. And this is why he winds up participating in a spectrum of violent behaviors that wind up destroying the lives of people like your Jalen Walker, a man who is going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life because this 65-year-old beta male felt entitled to use a parking space in a private parking lot, and because he felt entitled to use that parking space, he decided he was going to go out here and play sheriff of that parking lot, similar to the beta male who decided to murder Marquise McLaughlin in Florida, and similar to the way your George Zimmerman murdered your Trayvon Martin down in Florida once again. And again, this is a pattern of dysfunctional behavior that these males participate in because they primarily come from these female-headed households and households with these beta male fathers. And because there is no man there to teach these males the discipline they need, this is why these males feel entitled to go out here and act on their impulses without thinking about the consequences of their actions on themselves or the consequences of their actions on others. And I look at this incident, and sadly, it shows me another one of the incidents that transpires in this man crisis that's going on here in America, because the reason why we see males like this participating in violence to the point where they're going to shoot a man in the back over a parking space has to do with the way we have been raising men here in America over the last 50 years, because the way we have been raising boys to become men here in America, they act more like females than males, and because they act like females, they don't know how to problem solve like a man. Because a man who knows how to problem solve, he's going to see that van in the parking space, and then he's just going to find another parking space, park there. And if it's that much of a bother to him, he may contact the security or the staff of the lot and let them know that somebody's parked there. But usually in 4 or 5 minutes, these guys are gone, and you don't really have to worry about it. But that's as far as they're going to go, because they understand that there are far more things important than getting upset because a dude is parked in a handicapped parking space. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to pick up The Man Crisis, you can do so on Amazon.com, Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Barnes & Noble. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.